This is Jeff from Studio 41 Gaming, and with the next Smite video, we are on Thor. So the God Builder I got set up for him, and it's kind of tricky to play him. If you're playing assassins, you're used to building a lot of damage, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So here, first off, we have Warrior Tabi, obviously power movement. And we got Jotunn's Wrath, because Thor is really based around his abilities. So we got some mana, penetration, cooldown, power, you know. Then we got Void Shield here, which gives physical power and physical protection, and also has an aura that enemy gods within 55 units, which is actually a pretty decent range, have their physical protection reduced by 20. That's pretty nice. You're gonna definitely want this. Next we have Breastplate of Valor, which gives protection, mana per second, and cooldown reduction. Because with Thor, you want to build up your protections a bit, and here we got just a decent bit of physical. And next we have Brawler's Beat Stick, some more power and penetration, and a passive. Enemies hit by your abilities have 40% reduced healing and regen for 8 seconds, which is a long time. And next we have finally Masamune, which gives power, health, and movement speed. And then for each enemy god within 55 units of you, you gain a stacking buff that provides 7 magical protection, 7 physical protection. That stacks up to 5 times. So yeah, we got a decent bit of physical protection here, and the reason with this for Thor is that he has to get really close in to kill enemies. It's just how he is. So you gotta build up some protection somewhere, and it's just what you gotta do, basically. If you see people who don't build protections on Thor, you're gonna see them die like 15 times. So for Thor's abilities, his passive is Warrior's Madness. Thor gains physical power for each enemy god within 30 units of him. He gains 10 and then he maxes out 3 stacks. So next we have Jotunn's Attunement. He throws his hammer, and then if you hit it again, you can teleport to his hammer. It does a decent bit of damage, and it does double damage though on enemy gods if they get hit twice, which is pretty nice. And then we have Tectonic Rift, his CC ability that is a line in front of him, and this ability is freaking godly. This is one of the most useful CC abilities in the game that you can just pop out real quick and surprise people with. They won't even see it coming. Next we have Berserker Barrage. When he spins around, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen this at least once by now, but he spins around and does damage every 4 seconds, or 0.4 seconds, and then it ticks 5 times. It will hit hard late in the game. And then we have Anvil of Dawn, where Thor flies up, and then he can go land on people's heads and CC them far away. And yeah, again, this ability is really good. You just have to aim it pretty well to really do a lot of damage with it. You're not going to execute anyone unless they're at really low health, but don't overlook this ability's damage. But for the basic God Builder, I feel is perfect for Thor, so I just left it blank. But let's move on how to play him a little bit more now, since it can be pretty freaking rough sometimes. So Thor, even with that build and with his protections built up, if you have kind of a crappy meta on your team, like no Guardian to really soak damage, it could have a little bit of a bad time still. Thor can he's really dependent on the team around him. And this is really due down to the fact that he's a jack of all trades and a master of none for the most part. He's got a great engage and escape with his hammer, his first hammer ability, not his ult. He's got one of the best CC abilities in the game. He has a really good damaging ability, and then he has his ult. He only has one real damaging ability. He is not going to be basic attacking anyone like a Hunter or even like a Loki, where they can do a ton of damage from basic attacks. You're not going to do that with Thor. He's just not built for it. Even if you wanted to try that, you'd still have to stack so much protections, it would be insane. He's just not built for it. He doesn't have that super element of surprise or sustainability. So Thor, this entire build is really based around getting his abilities back as fast as possible so that you can do damage. Because it's just how he rolls. He's only going to be engaging people that are definitely below half. Half being like the most health they have, because once you use your 3 to do damage, if you didn't kill him, you're going to have to either basic attack once or twice, or they can run away and you're going to have to chase him. It's just how he is. He only has one real damaging ability, and you're just not going to be using your ult to do damage. You're going to be using that to chase people down and maybe plop them on their head when you land and kill them. And if not, then you can hammer and spin around and do all that to get a kill. That's his basically late game engage, ult, spin, and then pray to God it dies. Because if it doesn't, you're going to have to try and chase, and that's where Thor can run into some trouble. Is that you have to really, really know your limitations. If you think you can take someone from 100 to 0, you're going to have a bad time, because as Thor, you're just not going to do it. He just doesn't have the damage capabilities that you have to take into account, because he has to build his protections for the times where he might have to chase and fight some people. But with this build, you're going to still have some pretty big games. I had a couple 12, 13, 14 kill games. So just, you gotta know your limitations as Thor. If you don't, you're gonna die 15 to 20 times, and nobody wants YOLO Thor.